Good afternoon, garden friends. I'm getting right to the point, and I don't know if it's just me or if there are other gardeners out there that view this the same way I do. When you go on vacation, that you sit here and be panicking about how your garden is going to survive when you got 98 degrees weather for 5 days, and then you end up having a torrential downpour for 2 days and get about 6 inches of rain. Well, let me walk you through the garden to see some of the things that did okay and some of the things that I'm going to have to do some work on. So come along with me. Okay, so this is the back garden bed, and as I stated, we had gotten a lot of rain, and one of the things that do not do well with a lot of rain is my Helen Von Steen. Now, when I left, they all look like this, and in a week's time of heat and an exorbitant amount of rain, they started to decompose. But as you can see, my portulacas are doing fantastic. My pentas are doing good. But as you can see, too much rain has definitely impacted my Helen Von Steen, and then also my Purple Hearts. Purple Hearts do not like a lot of water, and you can see the difference in this one compared to this one in regards to the amount of water that got on these. Let's go over here. Now, where my hydrangeas and roses are, they did pretty good. I'm not too concerned about those. I do have a Japanese painted fern back here that looks like it did pretty good, even though we had some really high temperatures. My elephant ears look like they got a little scorched here, and this is predominantly morning sun area. Now, of course, I'm gonna have to go ahead and deadhead all of those roses that have bloomed, but my Annabelles and then my strawberry vanillas, you can see that the heat did, impact them some, but my chrysanthemums are doing well in here. And then this is part of the reason why we have these two trees here. The goal is to be able to provide some filter shade in this area here, so it is not getting that hot Georgia early morning sun that is crisping them out. My pots did relatively well, and let me tell you why. There is this stuff, it's by Miracle Grow, and you can kind of see it in here. Let me show you. They're like little gel beads. That was the one thing that I ended up doing, was I put the gel beads in all of my pots so that they would survive the hot heat. Now, even though the sun patients, which are these here, are supposed to be hardy. I mean, if you're having 98 degrees weather 5 days a week, you too would end up getting scorched. Let's go over here. I actually did the same thing for my rose bushes that are in pots. I tried to make sure that they held on to the water and they look good. Like I said, aside from me having to deadhead the spent flowers. Okay, and then of course my grass. My grass does not look as nice as it normally does because it hadn't been cut for a week. And then over here we can see that my impatiens and my broomstrucks held up pretty good, but this doesn't get that much sun. This is over here by my bird sanctuary. Now, my papayas love this kind of weather, and these guys are just doing fantastic. But if you look down at my hostas, I'm gonna have to be doing some cleaning up of those hostas in here. My roses did okay. These portulacas didn't do as well as the ones that are over in the front bed by the gate. Oh, and two, guys, before we left on vacation, we redid the pathway that we had in the back here. And then look at this, guys. You can tell with the rain. Let me show you this. We got apparently so much rain that it literally made a trail in the jungle gym area and moved the rubber mulch that we have here and sort of like spilled over, sorry about the shadow, and spilled over into this flower bed and knocked out some of the mulch that I had in here. But this, guys, is that hydrangea that I got off of clearance that is doing so very nicely. All right, so let's come over here. These guys, these hostas and the sedum did okay. And, you know, because this is a shaded area. But then look at my, this is an endless summer. I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, you know, changing. But, you know, with the frost, this one just did not bloom at all. But then you got the, you know, Lyncham rose are pretty hardy. The elephant ears that I have back here and another endless summer did well. Now, this is the one thing that I am sort of upset about. This is a verbatim. I think it's what it's called. You see how it got burnt crisp. Man, I'm hoping it is going to rejuvenate itself for next year. And my black-eyed Susies, you know, those are always resilient. But as you can see, my hostas definitely need to have some of the leaves pulled off that got damaged. This is another hydrangea that I know this fall what I'm going to do is I think I just have these too close for getting sun. I'm going to actually put them in pots and move them further back into a more shaded area, maybe like over in that area where I do have some of my hostas at and my Lenten rose, and then even like my hugras. They are getting roasted with this high heat. The lambs there, like I said, end up having some damage done to it. Now my Artemidas is probably loving this, not the rain, but the heat, because they grow really, really nicely. My other hydrangea back there next to my Sunshine Ligustrum, which is doing good. Looks like those flowers definitely got impacted by the heat, but as you see, the leaves are still nice and green. Another hydrangea, like I said, I'm going to be moving these guys a little further back in the corner. And two, I did plant another what is that called? A crabapple perfusion. Now that is going to get 10 to 12 foot tall, and about 8 foot wide. So I'm kind of hoping that once it gets full, it will provide some filtered shade over here. Oh, and then guys, look at this. I even moved it so it would not get scorched. This is my blood good Japanese maple. Look at the leaves. They got crispy. And the sad thing about this is where I'm planning on putting this, it's gonna be in direct sun. And when I read the specs on it, it said that it could handle sun, but it might be because it's in a pot. So this is something that is going to get moved this fall into my new front garden bed. But yeah, that's why I say, you know, you got to go on vacation. And the fact that I do not have a drip system, you know, so there are going to be some casualties. But, you know, the good thing, nothing died or got damaged to where it will not be able to recoup next year. And I think this one here is struggling with chlorosis, and it's doing a lot better because it was really, really bad. So I have been treating it with iron tone to hopefully, you know, get it to bounce back. But yeah, if you look at my purple hearts, they're not supposed to look like that. They almost look translucent. They're supposed to be that deep, rich purple. There's another one of my hydrangeas. This is a tiny tuft. And you see, I think it is. That crispiness is because it's getting too much sun. It didn't do this last year, but we have had some extraordinarily hot weather. My other hydrangea that's doing well. This is a ruby red. But yeah, like I said, my cannas are doing well. And then, I mean, this is a good thing. So for my new garden, I mean, everything is looking really, really good. Okay, wait a minute. Don't tell me I have a, look at this, guys. That's a crepe myrtle root that I think is taking residence in my garden bed. So I'm about to dig that out. And of course I got some weeds. Oh, look at this. Oops. My lantana is doing beautiful. Even my heliotrope is doing really nicely because I had cut it down and it is just doing beautiful. Another one of my hydrangeas. And then, like I said, my cannas are doing really well. That's a limelight hydrangea there. These are my little lime punches that will soon be turning pink. But like I said, it's not too bad, you know, how the garden bed is looking, aside from, you know, some weeds, but everything is looking good. And then this is another one of the crabapple profusions. Like I said, I am trying to create some filtered shade, especially for the hydrangeas, to give them some break from the heat, because like I said, these the little lime punches that are right there in the front, they shouldn't be turning brown. I mean, you can see I'm getting new growth on those ones there, but yeah, these guys should be turning pink. But like, yeah, look at the lantana. Oh boy, and look at the butterflies are just loving this area. Now look at this, guys. If you can see that in the ground, you can see based off of the water how much water was coming through to where it made trails in my flower bed. But you know, That's the one thing about Mother Nature. She is going to do what she needs to do. Little limelight right here. That is just doing really well. So I can't complain, too much. Being gone a week, and fortunately having some rain come through to help rejuvenate them from the unprecedented heat that we had. Another one of my limelights that are doing really well, and the cannas are looking pretty. Yeah, now I have to get in here and get those weeds out of there. I mean, I sort of like them because they're like little, they get little white and blue flowers on them, but they do take over. Oh, it looks like I'm getting some new growth on my bearded irises. I'm gonna get these guys thinned out too. Some new grass. Yeah, like I said, it ended up, the amount of rain that we had ended up literally shifting my mulch. So, oh, my grasses are doing good. Ooh, now I did transplant this one before we left, but because it did look like that one, but I ended up moving my lantern back and added some of these grasses in here, so that's understandable. This is my giant limelight that the weight of the rain has literally got it tipped over. I'm probably gonna come in here on the weekend and clip back some of these that are browning really bad, because this is the thing, all that does is encourages disease, and I do not want anything getting diseased with my plants. Yeah, so it's not too bad. Like I said, hey, sometimes you just end up over worrying. These are my quick fires. I got 2 quick fires in with the roses, but like I said, I'll be coming through here, and anything that looks dead, I'm gonna go ahead and get it clipped off, because some of these will have a new flush, like these. These are my mauvettes. They will get another flush, like in mid-September, October. So let's go over and take a look at where we planted the majestic crepe myrtle. All right, and these are my buddleia white butterfly bushes, and look at the butterfly on there. I think that's a monarch butterfly. And my moving winters petunias are still doing well. The ones up in the front, I'm gonna be pulling out. This one here, I think I'm gonna move it, because one of the things that we are talking about is where this wall is. I'm gonna bring it out probably about 3 feet to extend this bed, because this buddleia is not as big as this one, because I believe my rose bush is what is blocking the amount of sun that it gets. But yeah, like I said, it's not too bad. I do see some things that got damaged. Oh wow. Okay, so my snow lady Shasta Daisy, she isn't doing too well, and then I had one here, and looks like it died back, but I'm not gonna dig it up, because hopefully the roots will be able to take and come back next year, because it is a perennial. But my famous white phlox and my sweet summer queen phlox are doing really nicely. And then this is just another view from my quick fires. Those guys are just doing so nicely. And then my pentas back in the boxes are doing well. But yeah, here is the crepe myrtle that we planted earlier in the season. It's doing well, but and it actually got new growth on it because some of the leaves, you look at them, that they were doing this, you know, but I got all new shoots on this. So I think it's gonna do good. And of course, you got my wild and crazy forsythia that I'm gonna go ahead and get hedged. And this thing just grows so profusely. And then my annuminums are doing fantastic. But I'm gonna move these guys because I don't want the forsythia choking it out. And I might move these guys up into my secret garden. Aren't those adorable? Just so dainty. They do so well over here. This is my other portion of my flower bed. Yeah, definitely got to do some deadheading, but overall, everything looks good. Now these are my peonies. And I don't know if it's too hot over here, but they bloom really nice when the blooms come in. Some of my asters, those look really nice. And I actually cut those down before we left. My Sprea is doing well. This thing has just gotten so big. And more of my limelight primes. Look at that. See, this has the pink color to it, but like I said, the heat is not allowing it to get to its full color. And one of the things that I'm gonna do, which I didn't do last year, I only cut off the heads of the spent flowers. But as you guys can see in here, and this is sort of on a hill, I think I'm gonna cut it back by a third this spring. The same thing with the limelight. You see how they're like just bending over just from the weight of the flowers. So that's something that I'm going to end up doing. And this is another of the lime primes and another one of my Spreas. And then look here, I'm getting new flushes. That's the one thing that I love about these guys. You end up getting the soft pink and green, which is so pretty. And I think I'm gonna cut some of the good ones too, so I can dry them and enjoy them. But wait a minute, look at the size of this. Look at the size of this thing. It is just mammoth. It's just huge. So I guess I can't complain, because like even my hostas over here didn't do too bad, but I can tell them snails and what have you are sitting up here feasting on them. And my other azalea that I have over here is doing good. I think I'm probably gonna take this out of the pot this spring and get it into the ground, because it's been in the pot for about 3 years. Oh my, look at that butterfly on the butterfly bush. Because I need the dead head something profusely. My sedum is doing well and the bumblers are liking it. My azaleas, these are my encores that are blooming for a second time. And I actually moved these guys, so I think this is a good spot for them. And then that hydrangea right there is a Nico. So didn't bloom this year, but I actually got it as a clipping from my garden buddy. So I'm kind of hoping next year we'll end up having some flowers on it. My Chinese fringe is looking good. Now the one thing that I did notice, let me show you in here. You see how that is kind of yellowing? I'm wondering if it was because of the heat, because it was not like this when we left So a lot can happen in a week in a garden. And then my lemon and lime trees are doing good. I will more than likely, since they're so young, bring them in to the garage just in case if we get, a stint of cold weather. But I guess, guys, at the end of the day, it is about allowing Mother Nature to do what it's gonna do. Like I said, had not anticipated that we were going to be having 98-degree weather, but looking at everything, I may have been worrying on my vacation needlessly, so. But then the other thing that I noticed, okay, and these are my roses, which are doing well. And this is something that I notice is my sedum. You see this? That tells me it was like super, super hot, because these guys don't do this. They usually can handle the heat, but it must have been really, really hot to where these guys' roots had burned. But like I said, I try to get things that are resilient, and I feel very confident that these guys will bounce back. Yeah, because my goal is to have this entire area just covered with the lemon coral sedum. So, and these were some ones that broke off that I just plopped in for them to take root. And then while I was on vacation, I did end up getting 2 of the autumn ferns. So just to have some winter interest, and I'm gonna put it back here because this barely gets any morning sun, and I figure once they get real big, that'll look really nice. Well, guys, like I said, I may have been worrying for nothing, but with gardening, it's like your baby. You want to make sure that they are being well taken care of and nurtured. But at the end of the day, they will bounce back, be even more resilient. Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. Enjoy the rest of your day.